Hey everybody, fellow entrepreneur, back again. Crappy videos every day, so subscribe so you don't miss them. And today I wanted to backpedal a little bit from all the craziness going on, but still keep it relevant to that. I don't know if you're like me. Hopefully you are spared. But anytime you go online now, or Twitter, Facebook, just social media in general, it's just flooded, of course, with people passively, aggressively arguing about the situation that we find ourselves in right now, right? Are the riots good? Are the riots bad? Are police all criminals? Or should we defend the police? Can you actually be against police violence and riot violence at the same time, or are those two juxtaposing positions that cancel each other? It's just a frickin' mess, and I'll get into that in a minute, but it's frustrating, and you can see it on both sides. People are like tearing their hair out, like, why can't you see my point of view? Why can't you see that I'm right and you're bad? And it's just, there's so much bitching going on right now, and it's just useless. There is no point. It's just, and some people don't get that, and I've been trying to like tell them, like, you're wasting your breath. Don't worry. There's no point putting facts or data or charts, and no one's paying attention to any of that anymore, because that's just kind of the world that we live in right now. There's too much information out there. There's too much ammunition for your side. Maybe it's the wrong expression, but there's just too much to back up everyone's claim. We're really living in a Metal Gear Solid world. What? So there is, and that's the point of this video, there's actually there's an old video. It's old now, PlayStation 2 video game. Bear with me. If you know what I'm talking about, you're like, yep, he knows. It's an old game called Metal Gear Solid 2 from the PlayStation 2. This was in the early 2000s, I think, is when it came out. So it's a weird, Metal Gear Solid games are always really out there. But this game, at the end, there is a sequence, a conversation really, where the game goes, it kind of, at the time, it seems like it jumps the shark. This is early 2000s, before iPhones and YouTube and stuff like that, right? So you're just sitting here playing this game, and you're like some kind of stealth ninja dude who runs around and infiltrates some, and it's like a kind of like an action movie video game. But there's this 2020 hindsight, very profound conversation at the end where the player has like this conversation between these leaders of the mission. It really doesn't really matter much, but the game really goes like super deep, philosophical, intellectual, just basically laying out the future of social media and fake news and echo chambers, but basically just, this is again early 2000s, just eerie how accurate it is in predicting the world we live in today, basically with the rise of the internet, and just all of the useless junk data and opinions and information that just gets uploaded every day to the internet, that's there forever. That doesn't go away, right? There's just so much data being added all the time. Nobody can make sense of it anymore. The data is, there's so much data on all opinions and events. There's just basically, there's an unending amount of information to always back up your opinion, whatever it is. There's no right or wrong anymore. There's just half truths or fake truths, and that in this cesspool of information, there's no longer right or wrong, right? There's just the facts that you believe, I guess, and the facts that you dismiss, and that people will retreat into like these little echo chambers where they surround themselves with the facts and information that makes themselves feel good. people, again, like I said, you can't ever really have any positive discussion anymore. You can't have any constructive debates. It's just stagnant. It's a stalemate, basically, kind of is what they're talking about. There's an intellectual, factual stalemate because both sides can point to any number of information and data and facts and whatever to back up their claims. So no one ever nothing advances. It's a quagmire of like thought and think and it's just well, the game thought it was such a threat that in the game you're trying to kind of end up destroying that, but not really. Anyway, that's getting into the game part. That's exactly the world that we live in today. That's the point. I'll link the video in the comments, of course, if you haven't seen it. It's definitely worth checking out, remembering again that it's from early 2000s and it sounds like it was written the other day. Because of social media and the internet and articles and blogging and YouTube, whatever, that's just the way it is. You can't argue with people anymore. Facts have no meaning anymore because they're useless. They are totally useless. And you see it right now. People are putting up all sorts of things relating to the riots. And both sides have a point. Both sides do. There's a lot of people putting information out there that is statistically, I guess, if you look at it, some people did the math. I guess more white people are killed by police than blacks. More white people commit crimes, and so you have more white crime and you have more whites being killed, which kind of doesn't take away from the Black Lives Matter message we're seeing right now, but it does put it kind of into perspective that why is there so much maybe anger and ire going out now if you're not even like the most persecuted I don't know, race or group or demographic, right? But then of course there's lots of videos and stuff going around of police acting badly right now, you know, shoving people, or you know, the car is getting attacked, so they got to run out of there. It's just there's too much info on each side, right? And everyone is entrenched. I think this is a very polarizing issue we're in right now. Like a lot of things, it's very hard to be in the middle because both sides tend to attack you and tell you why you're wrong on all occasions. And I guess I hate that word again, but it's basically kind of tribalism. I really don't like that word, but maybe it's accurate, right? Is that you got your camp, you got your beliefs, you got your backup, the people who follow you, and really whoever's right or wrong now is just who screams the loudest, right? Which is kind of, we're seeing that spill out into the streets now. It doesn't really matter the soundness of your argument. It doesn't really even matter the truth behind it or not. It's just how loud you can be, how impassioned you can be, and how many people you can get on that side. It's just like a numbers game right now. But you know, trying to have honest debates and conversations and really trying to look at both sides is just extremely difficult. You get in that echo chamber and you just get spoon fed all of the information that you agree with, all the stuff that backs up your point of view already, which just entrenches you further, which just validates, right, all of your thoughts and beliefs. And because you don't see anything else, right, those beliefs like become ingrained and entrenched, and you can't even admit that another point of view exists because you haven't even seen it, right? And it's so frustrating to like even just to go and like, and I've tried. I was foolish. I dipped my toe in the pool here early and tried to do that, and got blown up by just trying to discuss like a middle ground, or just not even be devil's advocate, but just kind of like, what are we doing here? Is this really the best way to force change? Does this not conflict with, how can we try and denounce violence with violence? It's just, but it doesn't matter, because people don't want to listen to what you have to say, because they don't have to, right? You don't have to defend your own point of view anymore. There's tons of other people that do it for you. You don't even have to articulate your opinions anymore. You just go and link a headline, or you go and find an infographic or whatever it is, and that's all you got to do. No one knows how to debate or defend anymore, because that's not where we're at. It's hard to even have that online. So you find your ammo, you throw it up there, and if you don't believe me, well, then you don't believe the stuff. We're all researchers, right? And it's a zero-sum game. We're all losing here. It's frustrating, and if you've been in that situation, on either side, because you feel you have such strong beliefs on things, and you don't understand how people can't see your point of view. I'm telling you, this is why it's useless, because as impassioned as you feel on your issue, they are on the other side, and they have just as much info to back up their claims as well. It's a stalemate. So what do you do? So fail entrepreneur, what do we do? I tell you what you do. This is how you need to not so much debate, but if you want to be persuasive, right? Bear with me here. I hope it makes sense. Honestly, really, if you want to change people's minds now, you can't just throw facts at them. You can't even go and debate them, because as we've seen, you don't have to do that anymore on the internet. It doesn't work anymore. It's old-fashioned. It's like a dinosaur. Debate is dead. If you really want to be persuasive and try and I'm not saying get people to your side, but maybe get people to think, right? What you have to do, I'm being totally legit, serious, you have to incept. You have to incept people. That's the only way. Just like that Inception movie, right? You can't call people out on their on their beliefs. You can't even question it. You can't even confront it. But you have to incept them. You have to slip something in, right? Something subversive. You got to plant an idea. You got to plant a note without even them knowing that you're doing it. That's how you can sway and persuade people right now. Is you have to incept them, right? You need to maybe pose an argument or question, not lecture people, right? But maybe just again sneak in something that they might like, kind of like fishing is how I always look. You got to put some bait on that hook, give them something to get their attention, right? But then slip something in that might make them question their beliefs or conflicts with something that they're dead set like, well, wait, how did this again? But you can't be preachy, you can't be upfront about it. You really have to incept and make them think that they came up with this idea on their own, because that's the only way. We only listen to ourselves, not listen to nobody else. Some people might call this, like, I don't want to say, like the Matrix movies, right? You got your red pill and blue pill, kind of like, Neo chose to make those decisions by himself. So sometimes you might hear people say, you got red pilled. That's kind of what that is when you hear that expression, right? Or I guess there's other pills. There's like a blue pill means you kind of keep the status quo. You stay in your echo chamber. To red pill somebody is, like in the movies, like kind of open their eyes a little bit, and kind of expose maybe some of the fallacies that they believe in. But really, it's just inception, basically, is all you're trying to do, is to plant that idea, plant that seed. An idea, just like the Cobb guy in the movie says, it's like a virus, right? And once you plant that seed, it's powerful, and it will spread and grow. It will take time. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you can put in like a little doubt, if you can just sneak in a little persuasive, if you can expose a little hypocrisy, because there's hypocrisy on Both sides, no doubt, right? That's the way we're in because of all the fake news, echo chamber, social media stuff. Everything is so entangled. It's and there's just so much information on all different angles. It's very easy to call someone a hypocrite on any issue because there's always something that you can throw or post to make someone do like a double take or kind of expose an area where that point of view may not hold or be as ironclad as they might think. Sorry. So yeah, there we go. Incept people. If you want to try and, I don't want to say argue better on the internet, but if you really want to try and share your point of views with people, getting up on top of a box, screaming the loudest, posting the loudest, being the most outraged, it doesn't work. You're only talking to the people on your side already, but everyone else is just going to tune it out because they're shouting and doing the exact same thing. Two people shouting ain't going to hear each other. But like I said, if you can incept them, it's a little different. It takes a little bit more time. It takes a lot more work. But really, I think we're at the point now. And I hate to just reference video games and movies. That's the death of my philosophical background here. But really, that's what you need to be doing, is to plant that seed and get them to see your point of view without them even knowing that you, not tricked them, but without them even knowing you kind of open their minds. So more inception, right? More inception, less echoing, right? Okay. All right. There we go. Just my thoughts. It's been frustrating. Sometimes, like I said, I get caught in that, but I try and, I'll maybe post like historical events in the past that really, I don't know, whatever. I'm not good at it, but incept. Okay. Thanks for watching this far. If you did, 20 minutes. Wow. I'll put that link to the Metal Gear Solid 2 conversation. It's going to be out of context. Don't worry about that. But like I said, just the eerie predictions hold a lot of weight here in 2020. And it's just strange how accurate this game was without even like Twitter existing at the time. All right, I got things to do. I know you too. I'll catch you later.